yourself into a lengthy video. So let me just break it down before you actually commit your time to this. So first of all, I'm going to talk about how I became an Adobe Express ambassador, followed by how you can apply to be one too, and then followed by the event that I recently went to. So it's my first event, so you can sort of experience and manifest it being your first event as well. But basically I got invited to an Adobe Ambassador London Summit and the Creator Live event, and I documented like everything. So you have a lot of manifestation content here. Let's start with how I became an Adobe Express ambassador. So at the beginning of this year, I actually started taking acting lessons because I was like, I need to build up my confidence to talk to people, because if I want to be going out doing events, I need to start building this confidence up, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm also terrified of travel. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna travel to London and I'm going to manifest being there for an Adobe event. I kid you not. After that London trip that I took, 1 week later, I get an email from Adobe inviting me to be an Adobe Express ambassador. So I don't know what sort of incredible manifestation I did there, but clearly I did good. Okay, obviously this is just a very funny coincidence because there is a lot of backstory to this. So it would be easy to just say, hey, I went to London walking around visualizing I'm at an Adobe event, and then it happened 1 week later. Not entirely true. So let's backtrack to April last year when I created this Dream Brands board. I created a mini series called 10 Things I've Learned While Studying Illustration at University. That blew up. It made me hit my first 10K followers, and that's when I was like, you know what? I want to make money from this social media thing. Boom. Dream Brands board. These are all the brands that I decided, you know what, I'd really like to collaborate with them. The top one was obviously Adobe, but it seemed really unachievable at the time. And basically what I did is I just cold emailed so many brands. And 7 of the ones that are actually on this board I've achieved, which I'm really proud to say. But yeah, I cold emailed a lot of brands. I stalked people on LinkedIn. I also stalked people on Instagram. I was just emailing and DMing left and right. And some of it worked. You know, some of it did work. Some of it didn't. It was kind of hit and miss. But when it comes to Adobe, I also was tagging them a lot in my Instagram content. So anytime that I posted anything to do with Adobe Fresco, Adobe Premiere Pro, I would tag them. And I'm guessing through that, and also a lot of mutual connections, because I've sort of been using Instagram as my networking platform. Like I've been following and commenting and being very social on there. I'm guessing that's how they found me. But yeah, that's how I ended up getting an Adobe email. And I was like, yes, of course I want to be an Adobe Express ambassador. What do you mean? With that said, although I personally received an email with an invite, people can apply. That's actually what a handful of people that were at the event with me did. They didn't receive an email. They didn't get an invite specifically. They applied themselves, and that's how they got noticed, because, you know, there is so many people on this planet. It's kind of hard, especially if you're not posting consistently, to get noticed. So absolutely reach out to Adobe, apply. I will leave the link to actually apply to be an ambassador in the description of this video, so check it out. But don't think that applying and cold emailing people is enough. Like, you need to be consistent, so post at least twice a week. You need to be producing high quality content, and that feels cringy to say because that means I'm calling my content high quality. But basically meaningful content, I think, is what I'm saying. Something that truly you're passionate about. Do what you're passionate about, essentially. And the right people will find you, you know, network, and also realize the sort of boundaries mentally that are stopping you from achieving your dreams. For example, I knew I'm scared of travel, and I knew, like, this time last year, if I got invited to an Adobe Ambassador Summit, I would probably have rejected it, which is crazy as it sounds, because I would have been too scared. I would have been too scared to travel to London by myself. That's why putting in place these days out to London where I travel there beforehand in a very, you know, safe environment with my friends, with my partner, it built me up to eventually going to this event by myself, because I'm a very anxious individual. Listen, if you don't have travel anxiety or just, you know, anxiety in general, I envy you. However, I'm a very socially awkward, introverted individual, and this was very hard for me. So, like, I had to realize, okay, actually, I suck at networking. I suck at talking to people. acting course. You know, what can get me out of my comfort zone? Acting course. Let's get that confidence up. I'm scared of travel. Okay, let's do days out in London where you can get comfortable with the travel. I really recommend that you sit down and think, you know what, if everything that I've ever wanted, which, you know, be specific about what that is as well, I got, you know, if you achieved all of it tomorrow morning, how would you react? How would you feel? And think of this very specifically, like, what boundaries would you be scared to cross? Because a lot of the time we're like, oh yeah, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to achieve A, B, C, but we don't actually realize how we would feel if we achieved that. And I think it's good to journal about that. It's good to overcome those boundaries, so then when opportunities present themselves, you're able to just let yourself enjoy the opportunity instead of being scared about it. Okay, let's get into it. So the first day, listen, I did actually film myself, but a lot of it was just like too long, and this video is already long, so we're not going to do that. I'm just gonna quickly summarize what happened right before I traveled. And basically I was just panicking. I was panicking because I had a lot of travel anxiety. I started my period, and I use period underwear, so I had to last minute run out, get some pads, because where the hell am I gonna be washing period underwear when I'm on a trip, you know? So I had to do that. And then also Uber really stressed me out. I've never used Uber in my entire life, so this was very bougie for me and very like, whoa. It was confusing because I had a voucher. They provided me with a voucher to travel around London during the summit, but apparently it still took money from my card, and I was like, why did you take money from my card? The point is, it ended up being sorted, and I somehow managed to get myself to the hotel. This is where I'm going to hand over to Pati that was at the hotel. Just showered and got into my PJs. I look like Gollum, but honestly it's very on brand because I've never felt this poor in my entire life. But let's catch you up. So I got on the train to London. I was reading most of the time there until like the last 30 minutes, and then I got too anxious, so I just put my book away and I was just looking out the window for the last half an hour. I got off the train. I had to go to the toilet badly, so I was like, okay, I need to pee. Let's find the toilet. Found the toilet. Then I saw WH Smith. So I was like, okay, I need water because I forgot my water. $3.50 for water. Okay, so I was like, I'm gonna turn that into a meal deal, and I got this wrap, which is my dinner today, and some crisps. I needed to find the road my Uber was on. I had 20 minutes to do that. I exited London Waterloo wrong twice. I started crying because I was running around panicking, like, oh my god, where am I, what is happening? And I was like, okay, breathe, Pati, breathe, because I almost had a panic attack. This poor lady sees me and she's like, are you okay? Because at this point I've already asked like 4 people directions to this fucking road. Nobody knows. But I see this random exit to the side. My map is going crazy. It's not really telling me where the fuck I am, so I'm like, I need to get there. And all of a sudden it's like this magical moment. She's like, yeah, it's this exit. I'm like, great. I start putting my phone down. And she's like, honey, it's the other one. This one's not functioning. It's the other gate. And I didn't hear her for like 3 seconds. And I was like, I'm such an idiot. Anyway, I got through the gate, wiping my tears, running, hoping this is the correct road now. And it's like, again, this magical moment. I exit and it's finally there. The car is literally in front of me. And he just rolls down his window and he's like, Pati? And I'm like, yes, thank God. Okay. So I get into the Uber. 40 minutes later, got to the hotel, and what? The hotel is so fucking bougie. So I get to check in. I get my key card and she's like, breakfast is at 7 to 11. And I'm like, breakfast? And she's like, yeah, part of your reservation is breakfast. And I'm like, didn't know that. And now you're about to find out how poor I am. These are my bagels. These are my bagels, which are supposed to be my breakfast tomorrow. But hey ho, I now have extra bagels. I get in and the elevator is already so bougie, I'm overwhelmed. I'm clicking number 2 because I'm on floor 2. It's not moving. And it took me, I think I filmed this, but it took me like a good minute and a half to figure out that it wasn't moving because I had to touch my key card to the elevator. When I say I've never felt this poor in my entire life, like I mean it. Anyway, I get upstairs. Again, so fucking bougie. I come in, there's fucking music on the radio playing as I walk in. The room is insane. It's massive. I have a TV right in front of the bed. The bed, by the way, okay, I wouldn't say it's king size now looking at it. It's more like queen, but it's huge. I brought my own shampoo bar because I thought, oh, you know, I don't want to be getting all this shit later. They have hand cream. They have hand cream, they have coffee, they have tea. They have different types of tea, actually. They even have stationery. Which, by the way, I'm totally stealing this because if you went to a bougie hotel and you didn't steal some bougie hotel stationery, did you actually go to a bougie hotel? But yeah, it's been an overwhelming day. And honestly, I'm just going to call my partner now. Which I already called my mum and I already called my partner, but I'm just gonna call my partner now and I'm just gonna probably chill in here and maybe put a movie on, but I'm done for the day. Okay, I made myself my little makeshift tripod and let's talk about day 1 because man, it was wild. First things first, I woke up and I went downstairs. I was brave to have breakfast, which was really nice because I didn't realize that breakfast was included. So that was lovely and it tasted great. There was loads of vegan options, which was nice. Then I went back upstairs. I saw that somebody from the hotel has actually followed me, called Emily. We got along great. She has a business if you want to check her out. But yeah, I ended up messaging her like, hey, what are you up to? Can we maybe go to Kindred together? Because that's like where the summit was going to take place. And she was like, yeah, great. So I met her downstairs again. She was having her breakfast and then we took the Uber together to go there. As I entered Kindred, I think that's how you pronounce it, I got my own tag. This is insane. Like this is, look at it. This is so cool. I feel like this is my favorite piece of merch out of all the merch we got, and we got quite a bit of goodies. So on the chairs as we walked into the summit, there were these bags. This is what they look like. Very nice, very colorful. I love a tote bag, you know me. On the tote bag there were these key rings, which they're just so cute. It's a little custard cream, and at the back it says all the summit details, and at the front it's just a cute little guy. I am still yet to name him, so if you have any name suggestions, let me know. There's coffee, which I don't drink coffee, and it's also not vegan because it says milk chocolate on here. But hey ho, I have lots of coffee lovers in my friendship group. So, well, I say friendship group, I'm probably gonna give this to my mom, I'm gonna be honest. Then there's an umbrella. I think it's a bit of an odd thing to put in there, you know, an Adobe umbrella, but it's cute. I can't be asked to open it right now, but I'll post a photo over here of what it looks like opened. So yeah, pretty cute. Then there's this Adobe pin, which I haven't opened yet, as well as a sticker notebook, which I've actually already put stickers in because another thing that was in here are stickers. And I also collected a lot throughout the day as people were handing me their business cards. So those 2 Adobe ones were in the pack, and so were all of these pigeon ones. I say all these pigeon ones, there you go. More pigeons and just more like businessy card stickers from different businesses. But now let's actually get into the day. So we came in, we had like a little breakfast. It was just like snacks, and then our first talk started. So it was sort of like this panel of different people talking about their creative journeys, and it was incredible. And at this point I'm just sat there like, what am I doing here? Because these people are all so successful. And I was just like, okay, let's try not to let imposter syndrome get me. But I was just in awe at all of their stories and everything they managed to accomplish. One guy, Jaden, oh my god, he went to Japan. He's basically living my fucking dream life. He's doing like photography and videography and just traveling, and it was beautiful. His entire presentation was like what I aspire to achieve in life. Then we had a quick overview of Adobe's creative apprenticeship program with Heidi, and this is hilarious. This is where my imposter syndrome really kicked in, and let's talk about why, because this is my first event like this, and it's a bit embarrassing to talk about, really. I got a bit excited because I was like, oh my god, an apprenticeship program, like this is exactly what I need, because I'm kind of new, like I'm in this really awkward position where I don't fit into any box because I'm not new to being a creative, I've been doing this for like 6 months and I got noticed and now I'm an Adobe ambassador somehow. But at the same time, I haven't accomplished anything. Like I work in retail as my main job. So I haven't done anything creatively, and I've also switched from illustration, which, I only got a degree in illustration. I've never really been an illustrator, to being a filmmaker, which I'm sort of hoping to go more towards, but I'm still not certain what I want to do. I know content creation is definitely the thing, but basically I'm just very confused about my own existence. But anyway, she was introducing this Adobe Creative Apprenticeship program, and in my head, I'm like, oh my god, I should apply. This is like, because she was talking about people that are just early in their careers, starting out, not really sure what they're doing, and I was like, this is literally me. And then she started saying about how if we hire these people, like it would be very beneficial for us and why. And I'm like, hire? Oh, she's presenting the apprenticeship program as in to hire the apprenticeship people, not like be the apprenticeship people. I was dead. So anyway, I spoke to Heidi during the lunch and networking, which was right after the talk. And I sort of approached her and I was like, do you think I qualify for the apprenticeship program? And she just looked at me straight in the eyes and she's like, I think if you made it to this summit, you don't need it. And I was just like, oh god. But I haven't achieved anything in life. And I literally said this to her. I was like, but I haven't achieved anything in life. I don't even know how I'm here. It was hilarious because you could just read her face so clearly. I'm sure she didn't mean this, but the entire time she was like, like, I feel sorry for you, but at the same time, no, you don't qualify, honey. You're doing fine on your own. And I'm like, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I had a bit of a panicked moment. I gave her my details. But yeah, I don't think anything's happening out of that. Went downstairs to grab my lunch. The only vegan option they had is salad, like this chickpea salad. So I had that, and I had some chocolate mousse because that was vegan as well. So yay. I had 2 of those because dessert, chocolate, hello. And then I just was rushing around trying to hand out my little packages. So I made everybody these little parcels full of my like goodies from my small business that I'm trying to end hopefully by the end of this year, because I realized that having like physical inventory really stresses me out. So I'm kind of hoping to do more like digital courses going forward and whatnot. But anyway, it was full of my small business goodies, so like from posters to bookmarks, stickers, everything was in there. And then I packaged it nicely, sort of like a little gift, and I put a letter on top, just saying like, hey, this is me. Hi, if you're getting this means we've become friends on the event, and I'm so glad to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Here's the entire letter. Actually, that's so much easier. Here's the letter. Pause the video if you want to read what I wrote. But yeah, I just printed one of those letters and then I tied it together, and as the tag for the gift, I used my business card. And everybody was like so shocked. So I'm very glad that I did that. However, I feel very embarrassed because I only made like 35 of those, and there was like over 100 people, and I just didn't expect to be able to have so many opportunities to connect with all of them. So I didn't make more packages, and then I just had my business cards, and I felt really bad because some people got these like extravagant packages for me and other people just got business cards. But it is what it is. For next time I will know better. And also a nice little tip for you, some people had like their lock screens as a QR code to their Instagram, so they didn't have to get out their like business cards. They could just show their phone and be like, oh, added. And I thought that was quite a nice hack. So if I ever get invited to more of these, I will definitely do that as well. But yeah, most people were just giving out their business cards with a little sticker or something. I had whole packages, so I was very extra. But then I ran out of them, so it was sad. But I am very proud of myself because I managed to give packages to the most like people that I looked up to the most. Like there are people there, it was crazy. There were people there that I followed for ages. Like there was Simon, I think that's how you pronounce his name, literally took his lightning course on Skillshare the month before. And when I saw him in real life, I was just like, oh my god. Here's my business card. It's so nice to meet you. I'm so thrilled to be breathing the same air as you. I'm gonna go away now. Yeah, I kind of had a fangirling moment. It wasn't quite as bad as that, I suppose, but I did stumble and I did kind of forget how to speak for a moment. I gave one to him, I gave one to Jaden as well, and a couple of other people. But yeah, there's just so many insanely talented people there the entire time. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? People were asking me what I do. How do I tell them I work in retail? Like, you know, these are people that are like, you know, filmmakers, content creators, but like on another level, content creators, marketing strategists, illustrators, and I'm just like, I don't really have a title. I'm just figuring it out, and working in retail is my like actual job. So it was a bit awkward to have these conversations. But anyway, then we had breakout sessions. And let me get you the actual breakdown of the breakout sessions as well. Okay, I will post a photo there. Those were all the breakout sessions, and we had different things we could do and we just had like an hour and a half, I think, or like 2 hours to do that. It was interesting. However, I didn't realize how much of it would be AI. Like throughout the entire summit, I think AI was quite heavily pushed on us. And obviously, as somebody that comes from a more of a small business artist kind of background, I'm hesitant. People think about AI in black and white, but there's so much gray, and I could spend hours discussing the gray, and I don't even know all the gray. I'm trying to educate myself more on AI, but like I'm not going to talk about AI just because anything I say will piss someone off from either side. Right, it's a controversial topic, and I'm gonna be honest, I think it's not going anywhere. I think we need to get used to the idea that it is going to be in our lives more and more now. But at the same time, there needs to be a lot of more laws put into place, and it shouldn't be as easily accessible to all of us as it is now. There needs to be boundaries. There needs to be disclosure when people are using AI, and it's a whole thing. There's like a keychain making machine, for example, and you could only make your image using AI. So I skipped on that. It was a mixture of Adobe Express and Adobe Firefly ambassadors, so I suppose it makes sense that quite a lot of it was AI. In the breakout sessions, I ended up mainly listening to event talk, like how to build a community and do events, because I've just started a book club, so that was kind of interesting to me. But I popped in and out to some of the other ones just to listen. And speaking of AI, the next sort of talk was right after breakout sessions, and it was your vision amplified by AI. And this is like full on where all of my audience, because I know my audience and I know you're all against AI heavily, would just die. The first person talking was talking all about ChatGPT and how it's her boyfriend at this point, like how she calls him babes, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's funny to me. I just don't think I will ever appreciate something made with AI as much as something made from scratch. I think I enjoy the process more of like seeing, okay, it took them this long to figure out this exact fabric for this piece of clothing, and like I prefer more thorough and detailed production than just generating things with AI. I don't want this entire video to be about AI. Let's just move on. But yeah, basically there was a talk by 2 different people about AI, and it's interesting, but again, I just don't think it's my thing. So it was interesting to see their side of the story. I'm always open to understanding other people's perspectives, especially when I start feeling a little judgmental. That's when I need to, dig deeper, see where that judgment is coming from. And AI is a topic I definitely need to educate myself on, and I'm currently trying to do that by reading more books about it and whatnot. But yeah, then we had tea and content collaboration time. So I didn't end up doing content collaboration with anybody. It was basically more like, you can spend this time doing this if you want to. What I ended up doing is just grabbing some cake, because the carrot cake was vegan, so I grabbed 3 slices. So I had some carrot cake and then I just went back to the hotel. But I felt myself being very antsy in the hotel because this is, I had time from 4 p.m. till 6:30 for the dinner. That's when the dinner was gonna start. So I had loads of time and I was very much in my like, I'm so anxious from talking to all these people mood. So I ended up going to a bookstore because a bookstore is in my home away from home. And I ended up finding a Waterstones. It was literally like a 10-minute walk away from here, so that was great. Let's move on to dinner time. It was literally advertised to us as dinner and fun, and everybody was debating what fun meant. Like, are they going to be forcing us to dance? And they ended up saying, okay, no, there's not going to be any dancing. You won't be forced to dance. It's fine. So we were sort of trying to figure out whether we need new outfits. So I did end up doing an outfit change just because I brought an extra outfit. It honestly didn't look any more fancy than my first outfit. It's not like it was a going out outfit. I don't really have going out outfits because I don't go out. It's definitely not anybody else's fault, but I felt very out of place the entire time, not only because these people are like at least 5 years ahead of in their careers than me. You know, if I were to know what I was doing in the first place and like fully go for it from today onwards, maybe 5 years difference, if not 10 years difference in career, right? It was weird because there was the older than me people that I seemed to get along with, but that had like too much wisdom is the best way to put it. Like they just had so much experience and they felt so like, wow. And then they were the youthful people that looked my age. They felt very young in the sense that, you know, they dressed up really pretty, they had really extravagant makeup, the guys looked really cool, and I felt like this really awkward kid at prom that like doesn't have a partner or a friendship group and is just stood in the corner. So I really tried my best to not be alone, but it definitely felt like the entire summit, and this isn't again anybody's fault, everybody was so welcoming and so lovely, but everybody had friendship groups. Everybody seemed to sort of know each other. And I didn't know anybody, so I was just traveling between friendship groups and clinging on to people like, hey, I'm going to spend here sometime now, and I'm going to go over here. So it definitely was a flashback to secondary school after I got abandoned by my friendship group, and I just was jumping between friend groups. Anyways, let's leave that trauma in the past. During the dinner, we started off with like drinks. I didn't have any because I don't drink alcohol, but we started off with drinks. And basically there were different stations. So we had a photo booth. I took a photo in the photo booth with Katie. She's a lovely illustrator that I met at the event. Honestly, the sweetest person ever. Here's a close-up of the photo because I also got it digitally. But yeah, I think this turned out really cute. I'm really obsessed with it, so I'm very glad I was able to take one with her because I was just like, do you mind doing it with me? She was like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, okay. There's also 2 photos that I have. Is it called a Polaroid camera? These are the 2 photos that I took. This one is so blurry and you really can't see anything, but this one turned out nice. This one's with Emily, which is the small business owner that I met. There was also a temporary tattoo station. And again, this is where I was like, AI is being a bit pushed on us because you had to create your image with AI. Well, I'm not sure why though, because it was just in Adobe Express, and you don't need to use AI in Adobe Express, but when we sat down, they sort of set it up for the generate image, and I was like, okay, I guess I should just generate an image. So I tried to generate an image as close to my cats, Kylie and Dottie, as possible. I think those are the main things. So you had a photo booth, you had temporary tattoos, you had the Polaroid camera, and oh, you also had the keyring thing if you didn't manage to get one earlier, but I didn't end up doing that. So yeah, that was basically the dinner. Like the dinner, it wasn't really a dinner. I thought we'd like sit down and eat, but it was just more of a buffet. Like they were walking around with food, and a lot of it was just like chicken wings. And I was like, I'm vegan. So I ended up going, by the end of the night, I just ended up going to the bar and was like, do you happen to have anything vegan? And I did double ask them, like I asked them twice, is this vegan? And it was basically like this bruschetta with like, I hope vegan cheese, because I asked them twice if it's vegan and they said yes. So vegan cheese and like, I don't know, like tomato stuff. it was fine. It was fine. I had 2 of those. But yeah, that was the night. That was the entire first day. I then took an Uber back. And I just went to sleep, honestly. I journaled a bit and then I went to sleep. It's currently 8:30. Like, I've already had breakfast, which again, breakfast was lovely. Today I ended up having a chia bowl and the banana split again. Because I mean, if it's getting paid for, why not order 2 breakfasts? You know? Last night was definitely an improvement from the first night, because the first night I literally cried so much. I used up an entire toilet roll. So yesterday I had to go down to reception. I was like, could I have more toilet paper, please? Like, I know I've only been here 1 day, but I used my entire first toilet paper on crying over my cats not being here because I didn't realize they were tissues. Admittedly, I did cry a bit last night, but it wasn't like a full-on meltdown like the first night. It was more of like a, I really feel out of place here. Wow, I don't think I belong here. Kind of like a couple of tears fell down, but it was fine. 3 times in a row, right? Today's the 3rd night and last night, so maybe today I won't cry at all. Oh my god, I've been filming for 40 minutes. I really hope I managed to condense this down, but you know what? This is supposed to be like a really immerse yourself in the experience. This is your first time doing the Adobe Ambassador event as well. You know, imagine yourself being here. If this is what you want to visualize, like, it's so achievable. I will update you how today goes tomorrow. Day 2 was actually insane. If day 1 was amazing, day 2 just like outseated is not a word, Patty. I had 4 hours of sleep, man. You guys know I need 8 hours to function. Exceeded. If day 1 was amazing, day 2 just like exceeded my expectations. Yeah, no, seriously, I had 4 hours of sleep. I don't know how I'm gonna function and go home today. I'm gonna try my best, but I really do need my 8 hours. I'm such a, you know, sleep princess. Anyways, the Creator Live event was crazy. So let's start at the very beginning. I queued up. I took an Uber there. I queued up. The queue was kind of long, but it went very fast. Like, they were very efficient with it. And the very first thing, you had to scan your ticket and you get your little tag printed, which, oh my god, I need to start a memory box after this, because I just have so many like little things that I'm like, I need to keep this. I need to like frame this somewhere. But moving on, as you walked in, there was like this huge inflatable arch, and it was just so beautiful. I will say it was a bit overwhelming because there was just so much going on. Like, this is the schedule we were given, but it was a bit chaotic because like I didn't know what time the talks were, like who was in which section for which talk. The one person that I really wanted to see was David Larby. Oh my god, I love David Larby. I freaking love his book. So I was like, as soon as I heard he's talking at the event, I was like, I missed his Waterstones book tour. I need to go to this. If I do one thing today, I need to go and talk to David Larby, and I need to go and listen to his speech. And he did not disappoint. But let's backtrack. I'll go back to that later. As soon as I walked in, I sort of went all the way to the back through the arches, and that's sort of coincidentally where the food section was, which, by the way, they gave us free food. Like, unlimited access to free food, and there were so many vegan options. Girl, if you give me food, you know, I'm just gonna eat it. Like, I had so much, but first thing I did is I just waited for Michelle, because she's an online friend of mine, and I was so excited to finally meet her in real life. As soon as I found out we're both going to the event, I was like, okay, we need to team up on this. And honestly, it was the best feeling ever. We just sort of clicked instantly, like absolutely instantly. We were just besties. Like, we could talk nonstop, which was just the greatest feeling ever, because the Adobe Ambassador Summit, which was the first day, you know, unfortunately, as loving as people were, it really did feel like I was jumping between friend groups, right? But with the Creator Live event, I had Michelle and she had me, and we sort of clung onto each other. So that was fun. But yeah, first thing I did is I just grabbed some pizza, because that would be very not on brand for me if I didn't do that. So I had this medium-sized margarita pizza, and then followed by a pancake, because why not? Actually, let me just list all the food now, because otherwise I'm gonna get confused. I don't remember like the order I did this in. So I did pizza first for sure, and then I had a pancake, which was like this cinnamon sugar pancake. Sorry, crepe. I don't know the difference between a pancake and a crepe. I'm so sorry. I'm a disgrace, I know. But anyway, I had that. I had Coke. I had 2 matchas. And I later ended up having a dark chocolate crepe with raspberries in it, and the last thing I had was mac and cheese, but it had like so much stuff on top, like but it just looked amazing and it tasted amazing, and it had like meat on top of it, obviously vegan meat, but like it tasted amazing. I forgot to mention, as soon as we were walking in, we actually got this tote bag. It says contains creative content. It's the most massive tote bag I've ever had. I love it. I will show you all of my collectibles from the event. So inside the tote bag, you already had this Adobe keyring. 4 hours of sleep is not enough time for me to figure out what order to show all of this to you guys. I think I'm just gonna walk you through what we did at the point we did it. So the very first thing that me and Michelle did after we ate was we made hats. And I have regrets. So basically, you already had like custom designs, and most people just walked up to it and changed like the text and then went on their way. Me being an artist and being an annoying control freak, I decided I will design the whole thing from scratch by myself. The thing I did not notice is how long the queue was fucking getting, right? So they only had 4 laptops, and it was a Mac. It was a MacBook. I've never used a MacBook in my entire life. I know, I'm a disgrace. I don't care. I'm a Windows girl all the way, okay? So I was just clicking the wrong fucking buttons. I wish at least I had like a mouse. But alas, I had to use the mouse pad. So it was very tricky, and honestly, it probably took me like 20 minutes, I'm gonna be honest. I let the queue build up. Luckily, there was 3 other laptops, but the lady was definitely, as lovely as she was really getting fed up of me, and I could see it. So I ended up making this. It's actually terrible. Like, I didn't have enough time to find like the right cat image, and I fucked up. We learn from our mistakes. It's okay. At least now I have this very cringy keepsake. So I decided to make this. It says too anxious to function, and it has a little cat on it. I know it's terrible. Whatever. It's iconic. So yeah, we made hats, which by the way, just to clarify, in case you've never been to a Creative Live event, all of this is included. Like, this is all free. So we were just hopping between these things, grabbing as much free shit as we could. After the hat making, we sort of hopped around between different talks. So you had these headphones, and you had to put them on for the talks. That there were a couple on like the main stage as well, which didn't require headphones, but for most of them, they were just all like side talks, and you put in headphones and you had to match the light of the headphones to the color of the floor that the talk was taking place in, which I didn't actually figure out. Michelle figured that out, and I was like, oh my god, you're a genius. I'm too stupid to be here. Between that, I noticed, because I was already kind of expecting David Larby to be there, but I noticed 2 more people. And I fangirled so fucking bad. I could not breathe, and I haven't reviewed the footage yet, but I totally blanked out for the entire interaction. I decided it would be best to just take a video and then take screenshots of the video to get the photos, because I've never learned how to pose. Like, you know when everybody had that teenage stage where they just took a shit ton of photos and got good at it? I never took selfies. Like, the selfies I took was like the mirrored selfies that like didn't have your face in it. So actually, that's a lie. I also did like this face. Yeah, I was very fucking awkward as a teenager. Both of them were so lovely. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm so grateful for the entire interaction. Honestly, it warms my heart. But Michelle especially, she followed me back, guys. Again, I'm so sorry. I know I should not be putting people on pedestals. I know this. But it's just so hard not to, because like I followed these people for years, and it's just like, god damn. Apparently I was the first person to approach her about her work, so I'm honored, but at the same time, that's insane to me. That's absolutely insane that I was the first one. Anyways, moving on, because I'm just so socially awkward. The next thing we did is we were actually at a talk on the main stage, and we bumped into Anna. And I didn't know, like, I didn't fully know if she was going to the same event as me. So I'm very surprised we didn't bump into her earlier. I really wish we did. As soon as I saw her, we just clicked, and she clicked with Michelle as well. So the two became a three. We became a trio. I ended up taking some footage for Michelle and for Anna as well, which I need to send them all the footage because I have all the SD cards. Michelle forgot her SD card and I'm so glad I brought a spare one. Next thing we did are these little Pinterest. So there was like a little Pinterest section and you could make your own tin. This is what my tin looks like. Some of the things have moved now. The glue sort of slid across, but I'm happy because nothing actually came off. So it's a little out of place and it's a bit messy. It says cat lady on it. I think it's kind of iconic. From this little Pinterest workshop, I also got these stickers as well as this little, I actually have no, I'm too old for this. I don't know what this is. It seems to be like a phone thing that's really popular at the moment that you stick at the back of your phone. Is it like an anti-slide grip thing? I don't know. I don't know what this is. I also got recognized, guys. Okay, hold on. I got recognized from Instagram for the first time. Somebody walked up to me and she was like, oh my God, I follow you. And I was like, I met Memo, which she has more followers than me. Her content is so much better than mine. She's so much cooler than me. It's crazy that she recognized me and not the other way around, but I didn't see her content beforehand. So I followed her now and we're like friends as well, which is amazing. It's just networking. Yes. She also gave me this. Oh my God. This is the most creative thing I've ever seen. It's the game, you know, the little game that you play, but like as a business card. Genius. But yeah, moving on, there was a matcha place, and you guys know I've been obsessed with matcha. So like the first time I had matcha was last year, and I absolutely hated it the first time I had it, but I was a bit confused because I drank the whole thing. So I was like, And then the second time I was like, I don't remember if I liked this or hated it. I need to make up my mind, so I'll have a second one. And after the second one, it's history because it just became an addiction, I'm gonna be honest. So obviously, as soon as I saw a matcha place, I had to go to the matcha place. So I ended up getting 2 matchas, but there's also these stickers from the matcha place. So you get these stickers, you get this little notepad. You actually get your whole tub of matcha, which this shit is expensive. It's like £10 per matcha powder, you know, like it's great. And it just says like Adobe on it as well. And then, hold on. Oh no, I've packed it away. Okay, I found it. So you also get this matcha, like this thing to stir the matcha. And you also, oh my God, you get your own cup. You will get your own matcha cup with a straw. Again, free shit, like absolutely insane, right? It says Adobe X Marlowe. At the back, it says Creative Fuel. It's just like super cutesy. It's a reusable cup also, so like obsessed. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was all of the free stuff that we got. And then we ended up doing a glam bot. So these are the results. Well, the 2 results, because me and Michelle like took so many attempts. We kept getting the timing wrong. And it was hilarious. Me and Anna just like, I don't know, we kind of nailed it the first time. The very last talk we went to was David Larby, and I have converted Michelle because she kind of knew about him previously, but she wasn't like too fast. She got so engaged in his presentation. By the end, she was like a true fan, honestly. But I love David. He's just so lovely. And honestly, you know when people are a bit like too lovely online and you're like, I don't know if you're faking it. He was even lovelier in real life, if that's even humanly possible. I kind of word vomited out of him. From what I remember, I kind of just told him everything, like from how depressed and burnt out I am to how my grandma has cancer. Bless his soul, he was so nice. But I was like, your book has like actually made the biggest difference. Like, so his book Frequently Happy has a poem, then it's followed by like a sort of like a diary entry, followed by a journaling prompt. And you guys know I journal every day, right? So it's just like whenever I'm in a bad mood, I just open it up and it actually just makes me so much happier. Like, he just brings me so much joy through his words. And it's sorted by seasons. So I'm on spring now, obviously. You're all supposed to do one a week, technically. It's like, it's scheduled like that, but you can do it however you want. So what I end up doing is I do it within seasons, so it still makes sense seasonally. So I've done winter by now, I'm on to spring. But I kind of do them either all at once when I'm really, like, when I really need a pick-me-up, or just like when I'm feeling kind of down, I pick it up and I fill it in. But I make sure to fill up all of them before I move on to the next season. Thank you to the person in the audience that got him to literally come up with a poem on the spot as part of the Q&A. As soon as somebody told him to do a poem on the spot, I got like this massive surge of anxiety for him. Like, oh my God, he's not going to be able to do it. This is going to be so bad. And I was like, oh, he smashed it. I don't know how that man does that. He just creates poems on the spot, I guess. And right after, he sort of went behind the stage, and me and Michelle like shamelessly followed him back there. Shamelessly. I also gave him my business card. I don't know like why he would ever need me, but if he ever needs my help for anything, I'm there. It was so nice bonding with people. I really need to go now, so editing Pati can probably take over, but I need to go downstairs and have a quick breakfast before I need to head off to the train station. I did forget to mention this, but I did take Michelle home because I had so much money left on this Uber voucher. You know, they give us too much money, and I was like, well, it expires tomorrow when I go home, so I need to use it up. So I decided to take her home, which, by the way, ended up being a terrible idea. It took her twice as long to get home, but it's okay because we actually managed to talk nonstop. Like, literally, there was not a second of silence. We were just chatting nonstop, so it was okay, but it was like 50 minutes instead of like the 25 minutes it would have taken her to get home. After she left the Uber, I ended up talking to the driver, who was lovely, and somehow we ended up bonding as well. I don't know what was going on, to be honest with you. I was just in an extroverted mood. During the Create a Live event, Michelle gave me the best piece of advice, which is basically she's very introverted, and I was like, how are you so extroverted? And she was like, just ask people questions about themselves. That is how to do small talk. Ask people questions about themselves because they like talking about themselves. So when she left the Uber, I started talking to the driver, and I asked him a lot of questions about himself. And all of a sudden we just had like so many good conversations while he was driving me home. It was crazy. When he dropped me off at the hotel, I ended up giving him a £20 tip because, again, I had so much money on this damn voucher, right? So I was like, it's just gonna go to waste. So I still had loads of money to get to the train station the next day. And when I did get to the train station the next day, I tipped the following driver £30 because I wanted to use up that voucher. You know, it's just gonna expire and go to waste. I might as well give people money. I kind of miscalculated it, and I still had £14.58 left. And I was like, girl, again, money going to waste. And then I found out you can actually tip the drivers after you leave. So I ended up going back to the guy that took me home from the Create a Live event that I had that lovely conversation with, and tipping him an extra $14.58, which was the remaining balance on my Uber vouchers. So I ended up tipping him $34.58, which is a very odd number, but you know what? Whatever. It felt really good being able to tip people that much because usually I can't really afford tips. I'm a poor bitch, but you know, technically that money wasn't mine. But like I said, the voucher was gonna expire, so the money was just gonna go to waste. So I'm happy that I was able to help some people out, I guess. But anyways, the rest is history. I got home, and actually, I will admit this, I was disappointed when I walked through the door. I never thought I'd say this because, you know, home is my little sanctuary. I fucking love being here. It's my safe space. It has my cats in it. It has my partner here. This feels insane to say because I'm terrified of travel, but I really want to travel, especially because I met people like Jaden at the event who, you know, went to Japan. I've wanted to go to Japan since I was 12. And I thought I would for my 18th birthday. That never ended up happening because we never ended up having enough money. I may not have anywhere near enough money to go to Japan. However, I can start saving up slowly for a travel camera, which is what I plan to do. Like, I want a really good professional travel camera so that I can then start traveling, and hopefully maybe getting sponsored by brands to travel. Gotta start somewhere, okay? So my plan at the moment is to buy myself a really good camera. start traveling a little bit more locally and just capturing footage. Basically, I need to build up a portfolio for more like videography and photography, because I haven't really been doing that. I have a long way to go, and honestly, I don't really know what I want to achieve next, which is a bit scary, but I think if you know what you want to achieve exactly, like step by step, and how you're gonna get there, you're not living your dream, you're living somebody else's. So I think, you know what, the path is gonna unravel itself to me. I'm not too worried. I know I want to do more filmmaking. I want to do more photography. I want to actually learn how to use a camera, bro, because people ask me about cameras and tech all the time. I don't know shit. Okay, I don't know shit. I use everything in like the automatic mode where it just adjusts itself. You know, I cannot use a camera in manual mode. So I need to learn that. That is the next step. Anyways, comment down below if you want any more vlogs like this. I kind of want to get back into YouTube. So actually give me any ideas of posts that I could do on here, because I have been doing my podcast on here, which by the way, I'm not gonna be able to do this month's episode because I'm going to Poland right after this basically. So I'm not gonna be doing any work then. My first month, I only managed 2 months. That's so bad of a podcast before stopping. Anyways, it's fine, it's fine. We're just gonna get back to it next month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in whatever I make next. Bye.